The massive crystalline screens of the Galactic Council's archives flickered with ancient text as Tom Miller, a junior diplomat from the distant Proxima colonies, scrolled through countless warnings. His green eyes narrowed as he read the same message repeated in thousands of different languages and formats, all saying one thing: stay away from Earth. The archive chamber hummed quietly around him as he worked. After 3 years of searching through historical records, Tom had found something strange. Every advanced civilization they'd ever encountered had left the same warning about Earth, but none explained why. "Computer, show me the oldest warning message," Tom commanded. The screen shifted, displaying a message carved into a chunk of dark metal that was over 10,000 years old. The translation was simple but chilling. "The blue world in the Sol system must remain untouched. Do not approach. Do not investigate. Your survival depends on this warning." Tom leaned back in his floating chair, running a hand through his brown hair. As a human from the colonies, he found these warnings particularly disturbing. His ancestors had left Earth centuries ago, establishing settlements around other stars. Now, contact with the homeworld was strictly forbidden, though no one seemed to know why. The door to the archive chamber slid open with a soft hiss. "Still at it, Miller?" asked Director Wilson, his superior at the council. The older man's face showed concern as he approached. "Yes, sir. I found something interesting," Tom replied, gesturing to the screens. "Every major civilization in our records has warned others about Earth, but none of them explain why. Don't you find that odd?" Wilson's expression darkened. "The Council has always maintained that Earth is off-limits. It's been that way for thousands of years. But why?" Tom pressed, standing up. "We have records of civilizations far more advanced than us leaving these warnings. What could possibly be so dangerous about a single planet that even they were afraid?" The director sighed, looking at the ancient warning displayed on the main screen. "The Council is meeting tomorrow to discuss this very topic. Several research vessels have reported unusual energy signatures from the Sol system. Some believe we should investigate, despite the warnings." Tom's heart raced at the possibility. "Will they send an expedition?" "That's classified," Wilson replied sharply. Then his voice softened. "But since you've done so much research on this, I want you at tomorrow's meeting. Your input could be valuable." The next day, Tom stood before the full Galactic Council, representatives from over 100 spacefaring civilizations. The Grand Chamber's curved walls displayed star maps, and at the center, a hologram of the Sol system slowly rotated. "The warnings are clear," argued Representative Smith from Alpha Centauri. "Every civilization that reached the stars left the same message. We should continue to respect their wisdom." "But we have technology they couldn't have imagined," countered Representative Jones from the Sirius Alliance. "We need to know what's there. The energy readings we're detecting are unlike anything we've seen before." Tom listened as the debate continued, studying the hologram of Earth. What secrets could one planet hold that would frighten so many advanced civilizations? As a historian and diplomat, he knew that unified warnings like this were unprecedented. The Council's chief administrator finally spoke, silencing the chamber. "We will put it to a vote. Do we send an expedition to Earth, or maintain the quarantine?" Tom watched as the votes were cast. The results appeared on the main display. 60% in favor of investigation, 40% against. "It's decided then," the administrator announced. "We will send a research vessel to observe Earth from a safe distance. All precautions will be taken." As the council members filed out, Tom couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Something about this felt wrong. He'd read thousands of warnings, studied the fear in those ancient messages. Whatever was on Earth had terrified beings far more advanced than their current civilization. As he left the chamber, Tom looked back at the hologram of Earth, still rotating peacefully in the center of the room. Soon they would discover what countless others had found, the truth about humanity's homeworld, and why so many had warned others to stay away. He just hoped they were ready for the answer. The research vessel Seeker emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its advanced stealth systems immediately activating. Captain Jack Anderson stood on the bridge, his experienced eyes fixed on the main view screen showing a distant blue dot, Earth. "All systems running silent," reported First Officer David. "Our cloaking field is at maximum strength. No way they could detect us from this distance." The bridge crew worked quietly at their stations, each feeling the weight of breaking a millennia-old quarantine. They had the most advanced stealth technology in the known galaxy, yet the ancient warnings made them nervous. "Begin long-range scans," Jack ordered, his voice steady despite his inner tension. The ship's sensors reached out, gathering data about the third planet from the sun. The science officer, Lisa, frowned at her readings. "Captain, I'm detecting something unusual. Their technology level appears inconsistent." "Explain." Jack moved to her station, studying the complex data streams. "They're still using primitive fossil fuels and basic electronics in most places," Lisa said, adjusting her instruments. "But I'm also detecting energy signatures that shouldn't be possible at their development stage. They're like nothing I've ever seen." The Seeker moved closer, maintaining its position behind Earth's moon for additional cover. The crew watched in fascination as data poured in about the planet below. "Look at their military movements," David pointed out. "They're coordinated in ways that suggest much more advanced communication than we can detect. It's like they're using technology we can't see." Jack felt his unease growing. Something wasn't right. Their scans showed a civilization that should be centuries away from space travel, yet there were hints of capabilities far beyond that level. "Sir," Lisa's voice was suddenly alarmed. "Our cloaking field is fluctuating." "That's impossible." David rushed to check the systems. "This is the most advanced cloaking technology in the galaxy. Nothing could interfere with it." But the readings didn't lie. Their supposedly perfect camouflage was failing, and they couldn't understand why. The bridge crew watched in horror as their stealth systems began shutting down one by one. "All auxiliary power to cloaking," Jack ordered, but nothing helped. It was as if something was systematically dismantling their invisibility. Then their communication system crackled to life, even though it was supposed to be in silent mode. A simple message appeared on their screens. "We see you." "How?" David whispered. "They shouldn't have the capability to detect us, let alone penetrate our communications." Jack watched the planet below with new eyes. The scattered lights of cities seemed to mock their assumptions of Earth's primitive status. "Pull up visual feeds of their surface," he commanded. The screens filled with images of Earth's civilization. Cars, buildings, smartphones, all seemingly normal technology for their development level. But now they noticed other things. Subtle anomalies in their infrastructure, unexplainable energy readings from underground facilities, and patterns that suggested a far more advanced civilization hiding in plain sight. "Sir, multiple aircraft are launching from the surface," Lisa reported, her voice shaking. "They're using some kind of propulsion system our sensors can't analyze. They're heading straight for us." "That's not possible," David muttered. "Their visible technology shouldn't allow them to reach lunar orbit." But the readings were clear. Earth forces were rising to meet them, using technology that by all rights shouldn't exist. "Pull back," Jack ordered. "Get us out of the system. Now." As they retreated, their sensors captured one last image. A massive door opening in the moon's surface, revealing what appeared to be a base that their initial scans had completely missed. The Seeker fled back to hyperspace, its crew shaken by what they'd discovered. Earth wasn't primitive at all. They had fooled everyone with a carefully crafted illusion of technological backwardness, while hiding capabilities that seemed to surpass even their most advanced systems. Now they understood why the warnings existed, but they still didn't know the full truth about what humanity really was, or why they had hidden their true nature from the galaxy for so long. And that terrified them more than any warning ever could. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, General Robert Mills watched multiple holographic displays showing the retreating alien vessel. Around him, the command center hummed with activity as operators tracked every movement of the intruder. They really thought we wouldn't notice them. He chuckled, turning to his chief scientist, Dr. Anna White. How long did their cloaking technology last against our systems? Less than 6 minutes, Anna replied, adjusting her glasses while studying the data. Their stealth tech is actually quite impressive. Would have been state-of-the-art for us about 200 years ago. The massive underground chamber stretched for miles, filled with technology that would seem impossible to most humans on the surface. Earth had maintained its facade of technological simplicity for centuries, hiding its true capabilities from both its own population and any watching eyes from space. Status of the lunar defense grid? Robert asked, watching as the alien ship disappeared into hyperspace. Fully operational, sir. We could have disabled their ship at any time, but followed protocol to let them leave with just a warning demonstration. A young operator named Mike reported from his station. The general nodded approvingly. Earth's defense strategy had always been the same. Let potential threats think they'd escaped, while actually controlling every aspect of the encounter. They had been doing this dance for thousands of years, ever since the first attempted invasion. What's interesting, Anna interjected, is their reaction to our message. They genuinely seemed shocked that we could see them. The quarantine warnings have worked better than we expected. The galaxy really has forgotten what humanity is capable of. On the main screen, replay footage showed the alien ship's desperate retreat after Earth's forces had revealed themselves. The look of panic on their faces had been clear even through the long-range scanners. Alert the other bases, Robert ordered. This encounter will likely trigger increased interest in Earth. We need to be ready. Around the world, hidden facilities similar to this one powered up their systems. Beneath the oceans, inside mountains, and hidden in plain sight, humanity's true technological might stirred to life. The surface world continued its daily routine, unaware of the ancient game being played out above their heads. Sir, Mike called out suddenly, we're detecting communications from the alien vessel. They're broadcasting to their home system. Robert smiled. Let them. Every word they say will spread the message. Earth is not to be trifled with. Anna pulled up another hologram, this one showing the alien ship's internal communications. They're arguing about what to do next. Some want to report everything. Others are afraid of the consequences. They still don't understand what they saw. And that's exactly how we want it, Robert replied. Fear of the unknown is more effective than any weapon we could show them. The command center's AI system, far more advanced than anything the public knew existed, projected possible scenarios based on the aliens' likely responses. In every simulation, the result was the same: increased caution toward Earth, more speculation about its true nature, but no direct hostile action. Should we initiate contact protocol? Anna asked, though she already knew the answer. Robert shook his head. Not yet. Let them stew in their uncertainty. When the time comes for humanity to fully reveal itself to the galaxy, it will be on our terms. The general watched as the last traces of the alien ship vanished from their sensors. Humanity had spent millennia building its defenses, developing technologies in secret, and maintaining the illusion of a simple, developing world. The surface civilization used smartphones and fossil fuels, while underneath, humanity wielded powers that would seem like magic to most species in the galaxy. Send word to the Council, he finally said. Tell them Phase 1 is complete. The observers took the bait exactly as planned. As his orders were carried out, Robert couldn't help but smile. The galaxy was about to learn why those ancient warnings existed, and humanity was ready to step out of the shadows it had hidden in for so long. The real question was the galaxy ready for them? Back aboard the Seeker, as they raced through hyperspace, the crew gathered in the ship's archive room. The walls were lined with data crystals containing records from thousands of civilizations, most of which had never been fully examined. "Search for any classified files about Earth," Captain Jack ordered, his hands still shaking from their recent encounter. "There has to be more information somewhere." Lisa, their science officer, began accessing the deepest layers of their archives. As she worked, hidden files began emerging, records that had been buried under layers of security protocols. "Look at this," she gasped, projecting a hologram in the center of the room. "It's a battle record from 3,000 years ago. An empire called the Star Dominion tried to invade Earth." The crew watched in silence as the ancient recording played out. A massive fleet of warships, far more advanced than anything they currently possessed, approached Earth. Then, without warning, their ships began failing. Some simply shut down, others turned against each other. The entire invasion force was defeated without Earth firing a single visible shot. "Here's another one," David said, pulling up a different file. 2,000 years ago, a scientific expedition tried to abduct humans for study. Their ships were found drifting in space. All technology on board had been completely rewritten at the atomic level. Jack moved between the displays, his face growing paler with each new discovery. They'd been protecting themselves all along, but why maintain the illusion of being primitive? "Sir," Lisa called out, her voice trembling, "I found something else. These energy readings we detected, they match patterns from Earth going back millennia. They weren't advancing slowly. They were already advanced when the first aliens arrived." The archive room filled with more holograms, each showing a different encounter with Earth. In every case, the pattern was the same. Visitors arrived, confident in their superior technology, only to discover they were hopelessly outmatched. "This can't be right," David muttered, studying a particular record. According to this, humans had mastered gravity manipulation before most species discovered electricity. They just chose not to show it. Another file revealed the truth about Earth's moon base. It wasn't new. It had been there for thousands of years, hidden by technology so advanced it could fool even their best modern sensors. "They've been watching us," Jack realized. "All this time, humanity has been observing the galaxy, learning our technologies, staying ahead of everyone. The primitive civilization on the surface is just a cover." Lisa pulled up more recent files, showing strange energy patterns around Earth that matched perfectly with what they'd just encountered. Their technological development didn't stagnate. They just got better at hiding it. "Everything we saw on the surface is basically a theatrical performance." The crew fell silent as they processed this information. Their own civilization, which prided itself on being among the most advanced in the galaxy, suddenly seemed young and naive in comparison. But why? David asked the question they were all thinking. Why hide? Why not just show their power? Jack was about to respond when a final file caught his attention. It was heavily encrypted, but what he could read chilled him to the bone. It suggested that humanity's advanced state wasn't just about technology. There was something fundamentally different about humans themselves. "We need to take this to the Council," he finally said. "They need to know what we found. Earth isn't just another world. It's something else entirely." As if responding to his words, their ship's systems suddenly flickered. For just a moment, all their screens displayed the same message they'd received near Earth. "We see you." The message vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the crew to wonder. Had their access to these files been allowed? Was this all part of some larger plan? Looking at the collected data about humanity's true nature, Jack realized they had stumbled onto something far bigger than a simple mystery. They had discovered why those ancient warnings existed, but in doing so, they might have triggered exactly what those warnings were trying to prevent. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos as Captain Jack finished presenting his findings. The evidence was undeniable. Earth wasn't just hiding advanced technology. They had been deliberately misleading the entire galaxy. Before the Council could descend further into panic, every screen in the chamber suddenly activated. The image of General Robert Mills appeared, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the agitation in the room. "Greetings, distinguished members of the council," he said. "I believe it's time we had a proper conversation." The chamber fell silent. This was unprecedented. Earth had never directly contacted the council before. "For millennia, you've wondered about us," Robert continued. "You've seen our warnings, witnessed our defenses, but never understood why. Today, that changes." Behind him, holographic displays showed the true Earth. Massive cities hidden beneath the oceans, advanced spacecraft concealed within mountains, and technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. "We didn't start advanced," the general explained, "but we learned. Every species that came to Earth, whether to trade or conquer, taught us something. We studied your technologies, improved them, and developed our own paths of advancement." Images appeared showing how humanity had reverse-engineered and improved upon every piece of alien technology ever used against them. What had taken other species centuries to develop, humans had mastered in decades. "Your cloaking technology," Robert gestured, and a diagram appeared. "We saw through it because we helped invent it. Those energy signatures you couldn't understand. They're from power sources we developed before your civilizations existed." A council member stood up, their voice shaking. "Why maintain the deception? Why pretend to be primitive?" "Protection," Robert replied simply. "Not just for us, but for you. Humanity's advancement rate isn't normal. We solve problems differently. Our adaptability and innovation scared the first civilizations that found us. They tried to destroy us before we could become a threat." The chamber screens showed ancient battles, but from Earth's perspective this time. The defenders hadn't just won. They had comprehensively outmaneuvered technologically superior forces using innovations their enemies couldn't comprehend. "So we hid," Robert continued. "We let the galaxy think we were just another developing world. It gave us time to understand our place in the universe, to mature without pressure, and it let us protect others." New images appeared. Earth ships secretly defending younger civilizations from exploitation, preventing interstellar wars, and maintaining balance in the galaxy. Every warning marker you found was placed with our blessing. The quarantine wasn't to contain us. It was to give us space to work, to let us be the galaxy's unseen guardians. The council members watched in stunned silence as centuries of mysteries were explained. Earth had become the secret protector of the galaxy, using its hidden advancement to maintain peace and prevent the strong from overwhelming the weak. "Today's revelation wasn't an accident," Robert concluded. "Your ship was allowed to find those archives. We believe it's time for humanity to step into the light, not as conquerors or superiors, but as teachers and allies." The general's image stood tall, his next words carrying the weight of millennia. "We're not hiding anymore. Earth is ready to formally join the galactic community. The question is, are you ready for us?" The council chamber remained silent as the implications sank in. The mysterious planet that had haunted their legends wasn't just real. It was offering to share its knowledge. "The choice is yours," Robert said softly. "We can return to our silence, continue our hidden work, or we can begin a new chapter together, sharing what we've learned over these thousands of years." As the general's image faded, the council faced its most important decision in centuries. The truth about Earth had emerged, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The warnings had never been about fear. They had been about respect. Respect for a species that had transcended normal development to become something entirely new. The crew of the Seeker found themselves in an unprecedented situation. Their ship had been invited to land at one of Earth's hidden bases in the Himalayas, a facility that seemed to materialize out of solid rock as they approached. "This is impossible," David whispered as they descended into a vast hangar filled with spacecraft unlike anything they'd ever seen. Some seemed to bend light around them. Others appeared to exist in multiple dimensions at once. As they landed, Captain Jack faced his crew. "We're about to make history. Whatever we see here will determine how the galaxy moves forward. They were met by General Robert and Dr. Anna, who led them through corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. The walls themselves appeared alive with flowing data streams and pulsing energy. Your civilizations think in linear terms, Anna explained as they walked. Advancement follows predictable patterns. Spaceflight leads to FTL travel, leads to energy manipulation, and so on. Humans don't think that way. They entered a massive chamber that appeared to be a command center, but unlike anything the aliens had imagined. Instead of screens and controls, the room seemed to respond directly to thought and intention. We developed technologies in parallel, Robert continued. While working on basic electronics, we were also exploring quantum mechanics, consciousness transfer, and dimensional engineering. Our minds let us see connections others miss. The visitors watched in awe as operators worked with technology that seemed to defy physics itself. Holographic displays showed Earth's true defense network, a web of installations that spanned not just space but time itself. You've been protecting younger civilizations, Jack realized, watching feeds of Earth ships intervening in conflicts across the galaxy. All those times mysterious forces prevented wars or stopped invasions. That was you. Someone had to. Robert smiled. We saw how the strong preyed on the weak. We couldn't just watch. Anna pulled up images of Earth's hidden cities, vast complexes that housed technologies and research that could revolutionize life across the galaxy. We're offering to share this with you, not all at once. That would be dangerous. But gradually, teaching others to understand rather than just use. The crew faced a monumental decision. They could return home, report everything they'd seen, and let the Council decide. Or they could accept Earth's offer and become the first bridge between humanity and the galaxy. But there's something you should know. Robert's voice grew serious. We've detected threats you don't know exist. Things lurking between galaxies, dangers that could end all life. We've been preparing for them. The chamber darkened as he showed them images of things that defied description. Cosmic horrors that humanity had been quietly fighting for centuries. This is the real reason we hid, Anna explained. We needed time to prepare, to build defenses not just for Earth, but for everyone. The question is, will you help us? Jack looked at his crew, seeing the same mix of fear and wonder in their eyes that he felt. Everything they thought they knew about the universe had changed. If we say yes, he asked carefully, what happens next? You become our ambassadors, Robert replied. Help us introduce humanity's true nature to the galaxy gradually, preparing them for both the wonders and the warnings we need to share. The chamber fell silent as the crew contemplated their choice. Through the vast windows, they could see Earth's surface far below. The carefully maintained illusion of a simple world, hiding the most advanced civilization they'd ever encountered. There's no going back from this decision, Anna added softly. Once you know the full truth about humanity and what we face, you'll be part of something bigger than any single species. Captain Jack looked at his crew one last time, seeing the decision in their eyes before they even spoke. They had come seeking answers about Earth's mysteries. Instead, they'd found humanity's greatest secret and their greatest hope. The choice was clear. The galaxy needed to know the truth, needed Earth's protection and guidance. And they would help tell that story. 6 months after the Seekers' historic landing, the Galactic Council assembled for what would become the most important meeting in its history. The Grand Chamber was packed with representatives from every known civilization, all waiting for humanity's first official address. The central platform rose, revealing General Robert Mills, Dr. Anna White, and Captain Jack Anderson standing together, symbols of the new alliance between Earth and the galaxy. For millennia, Robert began. Humanity watched and waited. Today, we step into the light. The chamber's holographic systems, upgraded with Earth technology, sprang to life. The display showed the true extent of human advancement. Cities that defied physics, ships that could traverse dimensions, and energy systems that could power entire star clusters. "But we're not here to overwhelm you," Anna continued. "We're here to teach, to share, to help everyone advance together." The first demonstrations began. Earth scientists showed how they had solved problems that had plagued other civilizations for centuries. They revealed medical techniques that could extend lifespans, environmental technologies that could restore dead worlds, and power systems that drew energy from the fabric of space itself. However, Robert's voice grew serious. "There's another reason we've chosen this moment to reveal ourselves." The chamber darkened as he showed them what humanity had been fighting. Cosmic entities that threatened all life, interdimensional invaders that humanity had been quietly defeating for centuries, and dangers that lurked in the spaces between galaxies. "We need to stand together," he explained. "Earth has been the shield, but we need the galaxy to become the sword." Jack stepped forward, representing the bridge between old and new. "I've seen what humanity can do. They could have conquered us all centuries ago. Instead, they chose to protect us, to guide us, to prepare us for greater challenges." The council members watched in awe as Earth revealed its training programs, specialized academies where representatives from every world could learn to use human technology responsibly, to understand the deeper mysteries of the universe, and to face the threats that were coming. "We're not asking for submission," Anna clarified. "We're offering partnership. Each civilization has unique insights, perspectives we need. Together, we can become something greater than any single species could achieve alone." The chamber erupted in discussion as Earth's representatives began answering questions. How had humans developed so differently? What made their minds capable of such leaps in understanding? The answers revealed a species that had evolved not just technologically, but mentally and spiritually in ways that challenged conventional understanding. From this day forward, Robert announced, the warnings about Earth will serve a new purpose, not to keep others away, but to guide them to us, to show them where to find teachers, protectors, and allies. The first agreements were signed, training programs began. Earth's hidden cities opened their doors to carefully chosen representatives from every world. The galaxy's greatest mystery had become its greatest hope. As the historic session ended, Jack found himself staring at the Earth hologram floating in the chamber center. He remembered his fear when they first approached the forbidden planet, how terrified they'd been when their systems failed. Now he understood. Humanity hadn't been hostile, just careful. They had waited for the right moment, the right way to reveal themselves. "It's really happening," he said to Anna, who stood beside him. "Everything's changing." She smiled, watching as council members excitedly discussed future possibilities. "This is just the beginning. Wait until they see what humanity has planned for the next century." Above them, Earth's real defense grid became visible for the first time. A network of stations and ships that had protected not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. No longer hidden, they stood as beacons of hope and progress. The age of secrets was over. The age of collaboration had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, the ancient threats that humanity had fought alone for so long stirred, sensing that their time of easy hunting was ending. Humanity was ready. And now, the galaxy would be ready too.